Brandon Aiyuk drama builds. Justin Fields might actually be in a position to compete, according to almost like a double talk type of answer by Sean Payton, that Russell Wilson's in pole position. He's the number one, but Fields will get an opportunity to showcase his talent. He's oozing with talent, says Sean Payton. We're going to break down all of this news and more. The Fantasy Football Show, 8 p.m. edition, breaking news edition. Every day, Monday through Friday edition begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Here we are again to discuss more Brandon Aiyuk controversy, and also we've got a little Justin Fields and Russell Wilson controversy as well. We're going to be breaking down a lot more, opening up the phone lines, talking about the Washington Commanders. The news out of, I don't know, I guess Twitterville is that the Commanders are contemplating maybe going J.J. McCarthy at number 2, but can we even take that as a serious conversation? Not because McCarthy's not worthy of the convo, but no one's going to telegraph what they're going to do. This isn't even coming out of like somebody that's speaking very close to the situation that says the Commanders are going this direction. These are GMs being talked to around the league. What do you think the Commanders are going to do? I think they're going McCarthy. That's where this news is coming from. We'll break that down in a second. If you missed it earlier, Brandon Aiyuk drama's building. Your boy came out and told you the other day, several days ago, and for the last handful of weeks and even well over a month, to some degree on all these different levels I'm about to cover, that he is going to be trending toward requesting a trade. A negotiation tactic, not meaning he's gone, not meaning he's getting traded. It means that this man wants his bag. And I came out 2 days ago and said that this guy's probably growing. His anger's growing. His anger's mounting as he's watching Ridley get a deal, Jerry Jeudy get a deal. And the Niners just apparently want to wait like they always do. And so Aiyuk tweeted out, or he didn't tweet out, he sent out an Instagram story that was a direct message to the Niners. But why did he send this? Because John Lynch had just gotten done with a press conference where he was asked, what's going on with Brandon Aiyuk? What was going on with the tweet that was targeted at Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers head coach? And John Lynch was like, oh, yeah, I promise you nothing's going on there. I know Tomlin very well. I played for him. And basically said we take care of our players. You know, we're currently talking to Brandon Aiyuk, talking to him probably in terms of, hey, wait. Not necessarily working out a deal. They want to do the deal later. It's very evident, very clear. The Niner way is to wait. The Niner way is to wait. There's no doubt about that the Niner way is not to pay him right now. They might feel the pressure and end up paying him now, because that's what the whole point of requesting a trade is about. You need to apply the pressure. You need to request the trade. You need to try and get the team to make a move earlier than they want to so you can get the bag earlier. And it's in the Niners' best interest to sign him earlier rather than later. If JJ signs a big fat extension and gets paid $34 million annually, you think Aiyuk's going to be okay making $24 million a year? Which is what he clearly wants now, because 23 is what Ridley got. And that's the way this game plays. That's the way this game goes. Anyway, John Lynch, we're going to take care of you. We have a good track record of taking care of our guys. And, we're talking to Aiyuk right now. Very much our intention, in so many words, to keep him on the team and have him be a part of the Niners. There's no intention of trading him. We are not discussing trades to trade him, is basically what he said. Then everybody came out of the woodwork. Told you, Smitty. I was getting blasted for about 8 minutes on DMs. told you. How do you feel now? They're not making any trades. All these reports you've been reporting on are false. The Jaguar trade never happened, you idiot. People are telling me I'm a complete moron. And I never said that the Jaguars deal was cooking. I reported that a report was out that the Jaguars had offered a trade at 17, Zay Jones. That wasn't coming from me. That's me reporting on it. And we even said, we don't know if there's any truth to this, but let's kick it around. What would it mean? What would it mean? Okay, so fast forward after John Lynch discusses what he discusses, Aiyuk comes straight out on IG and drops this bad boy and says, money talks, bullshit walks. If you're cryptic, if you're a license plate reader, you pick this up right away. George Kittle then came out and dropped one of his encoded messages. Did anybody ever get the decoder pin out and break down what Kittle was saying? Something about don't let him walk. He did. George Kittle did an even longer one. Don't let him walk. Pay the man his money. Alien emoji. Bag, money bag. And then, running or something. Point being, Aiyuk, he responded immediately. This is a shot over the bow. This was Aiyuk saying, you said this in public. You tried to put a handle on the situation, a lid on the situation. You tried to put a lid on everything and make everyone think everything's fine when it's not. If you're going to go out and speak publicly about it without telling the entire truth about where we're at, I'm going to immediately Instagram story post, money talks, bullshit walks. That's what Aiyuk said. You can say what you want. Smitty, he's not getting traded. There's no way he's getting traded, Smitty. I'm a Niner fan, and this is really upsetting me because he's not getting traded. You don't want him to get traded doesn't mean he won't get traded. Just because you think he's worth what he's worth doesn't mean the Niners think he's worth what he's worth. And I'm not saying the intention isn't to fully bring this guy back, but if the right offer comes along, what you think doesn't matter, what I think doesn't matter. If somebody comes along and says, you know what, Aiyuk's putting up a stink, we'll offer you the 17 overall pick straight up. No Zay, no nothing. We'll just give you 17. It might get done. If the Colts said, we'll give you 15. Let me tell you something about Brandon Aiyuk. You may think Brandon Aiyuk is the best thing in the world if you're a Niner fan or if you're a Brandon Aiyuk believer. But let me tell you something. This guy, Brian Thomas Jr., that could fall to 15. Odunze could fall just through the natural landscape and lay of the land in terms of quarterbacks and wide receivers and who needs them, who doesn't. If Odunze were to kind of free fall into this territory, Odunze is a much better long-term prospect when you consider you're not having to pay him big bucks and he's got top 5 potential upside. Brian Thomas Jr. on a rookie deal is more attractive than Brandon Aiyuk on a $25-24 million a year contract, which is what he wants. At some point, there's a tipping point, an ability to shove a team over the edge. It's hilarious to me that people think he can't get traded. No offense to anybody, but if you think there's a 0% chance of him getting traded, you were either blind with Niner love or support for Aiyuk for whatever reason. Maybe you own him on a Dynasty league, or you just don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's the bottom line. Choose the other one. Choose the blind love, the blind love, the support. But don't come in here and act like a trade like Tyreek Hill's trade can't happen. I already explained it to you on the last live stream, on this live stream, the live stream before, the live stream before, the live stream before. Don't come in here and act like he's not getting traded because you love him, because he's on your team. Because the Niners wouldn't do that, wouldn't trade him away. They're a next man up mentality type team anyway. The Niners, I'm not saying are going to want to walk away, but at some point, ask yourself this question. If you're a blind Aiyuk's not getting traded person in the chat right now, if he isn't going to sign a $23 million a year deal, and the Niners don't think he's worth more than what Ridley is getting paid, and the Niners say, we don't care what Ridley's getting paid. That doesn't make your salary going to be through the roof just because somebody overpaid on Ridley. They may say, you know what, we'll do you one better. We'll give you 23.5. We'll give you 24. And if JJ were to somehow, some way sign his extension, or Ridley that just didn't sit well. The Ridley deal just didn't sit well with Aiyuk, and he's like, I'm not signing for anything less than 25. What do you think happens? What do you think happens? Do you think that it just all goes away? If Aiyuk is going to stand firm on business, and business being more than 24 mil a year, and the Niners don't feel that way about Aiyuk, they're going to have an open mind to anybody that comes a knocking. And there are several teams that will potentially be able to pay him 25 mil a year, whatever, and then it comes down to draft capital compensation. And that's all there is to it. You can think what you want. Now, if they want to pay him and Aiyuk's reasonable about the amount, they can come together. They seem very far apart. So far apart that Aiyuk's sending out this message the minute after John Lynch talks about how everything's fine. You tell me if this guy's pissed off. And everybody that comes into my chat, no offense to my boy Raj, I love Raj. You know, go vote for him. I got it on my story post for the best Niner content on Instagram. The link is in my story post. But Raj did come in here and be like, how do you know Aiyuk's mad? I think I just proved it. It's right in front of your face. Case closed. Case closed. Man, it's really, really ridiculous. The slanted views right now on a lot of this stuff. It's crazy. I love it though. It doesn't drive me nuts. It makes me giggle. This news right here, before we get to Fields, belief among executives who know Commanders GM Adam Peters that the pick will be J.J. McCarthy at number 2 overall. Let me tell you something about this report. This is talking to other GMs about what they might or what they believe Adam Peters is going to do. This is not coming from, hey, we're hearing word that Adam Peters wants to draft. This is like 8 degrees of separation. This is like asking Kevin Bacon what he thinks the Commanders are going to do at the number 2 overall pick. Who knows? But J.J. McCarthy's certainly climbing. This could fit a narrative that J.J. McCarthy's climbing that high. I think it's a mistake. If J.J. McCarthy does go to Washington, I believe in Adam Peters so much. I believe J.J. McCarthy becomes a better quarterback than he would have anywhere else. So I can get behind him being successful. But do I think he's going to have an amazing fantasy football career in Washington? I wouldn't say that. I would say as much as I want Adam Peters and Kingsbury together to develop a gunslinging JD5 or Penix Jr. or something like that, which the Commanders would have to trade down to fall into the Penix Jr. Situation because you wouldn't take him that high. But I want JD5 there. I want Peters to get JD5. I want Kingsbury to have JD5. I want JD5 to flourish. And JD5 has his pro day on Wednesday. So let's calm down. Let's pump the brakes. But this is, this opens the door to a whole nother conversation. Harbaugh was out there saying over and over and over again today, the days before, leading into the combine, all that time frame, that J.J. McCarthy is the best quarterback in this draft, says Harbaugh. And Harbaugh is so adamantly in favor of this kid. I wonder what's going through his head in terms of Herbert. And if Harbaugh might not even believe he can get JJ at number 5 anymore. So we might be probably looking at something where if he fell, there could be a contemplation process where he wants to take him at 5, if he even fell, and then trade Justin Herbert to the Minnesota Vikings. I know that's a pipe dream. It's a crazy scenario. It's something that I have no inside lead on whatsoever. This is just coming from my mind and reading the tea leaves. and seeing how adamantly in favor, and it's not just pumping up your guy. I believe Harbaugh believes that he's as good, if not better, than Justin Herbert. I believe Harbaugh is looking at Sean Payton going, look what happened to him not having his quarterback. What can I do? What do I want to do? Is this the right thing to contemplate? I think he is. I think if they get put in that position, he'll think about it. And anybody that needs a quarterback, whether it's the Raiders, whether it's the Vikings, they need to strongly consider, that type of move. The Minnesota Vikings make the most sense because they have 11-23. They could throw at Harbaugh, say, pick your boy, give us Justin Herbert. And I know everybody's going to say, Herbert, no way, Herbert's going to, they're going to trade Herbert. That's the reason he went there. I'm just telling you, Sean Payton did not have his guy, and it did not end well, and I think Harbaugh would consider it. It's just something that keeps going through my mind over and over. I don't have any sort of lead on it whatsoever. I would say, as far as this goes, let's wait until JD5 has his pro day on Wednesday, then we'll circle back around. I believe JD5's pro day looks so good. This is the way it happens. Caleb went. Everybody's like, Caleb had a great day. McCarthy went. Now Caleb's pro day, and I thought this from the jump, is mediocre. After Caleb had his pro day, a majority of the feel out there it was good. It was really good. He looked really good. I did not believe that, but that's what the majority of people were pumping out there. Then JJ McCarthy went, and now Caleb's is mediocre. Mid. You hear a lot of mid pro day from Caleb. I'm really getting worried that Chicago is going to say they're meeting with them this week or next week for the medicals and everything and the evaluations, the psyche eval. I'm really worried that they find a reason and they get panicked and they back out of the Caleb sweepstakes. And then you got either JD5 or a move down or something. And I don't want JD5. I don't want anybody but JJ McCarthy to go to Chicago. But if JJ McCarthy went to Chicago on some ramped up 11th hour value climb and value spike, which happens in football a lot. It happens in politics. It happens in NFL draft scenarios where you get fatigued on the top guy and everybody starts looking for something fresh. And JJ McCarthy has that feeling of, okay, this is fresh. This is kind of untapped territory, right? We don't know what he's really capable of doing. He looked really good in his pro day. He looked no better than Zach Wilson looked in his pro day. Zach Wilson had a phenomenal pro day. Very, very similar. Zach Wilson's throw was very similar to the throw everyone keeps talking about with JJ McCarthy's throw. I'm not saying you liken the two together because of that. I'm just merely saying, if you didn't believe JJ McCarthy was a monster walking into his pro day, if the pro day changed your mind, I got a bridge to sell you. He could be a good quarterback. A lot of quarterbacks' talent is unrealized until they get in the NFL anyway. Tom Brady, no one knew what he was going to be. No one saw it coming. Even the Patriots didn't see it coming. Like, they obviously liked him, but they didn't even know what in the hell they had. And Tom didn't know what he was. So, am I going to pretend that JJ McCarthy can't become an elite quarterback if he develops at the next level? It's possible, but he's not an elite prospect. As of this moment right now, the way I'm judging him, the only thing I have to go on is what I feel now, what I see now, what I analyze now, how I project him to be, and he's not an elite prospect to me. He's a good quarterback. He's very Jared Goff, eventually could become Jared Goff good. That's a really good quarterback. That's a top 10 potential quarterback that can take a team deep into the playoffs. Who the hell knows? Look at Goff. Goff's been to multiple scenarios that you would say, okay, Goff can't get you. Well, Goff did. Goff can get you to a Super Bowl. Goff can get you to a last year, almost an NFL Super Bowl against the 49ers. Should have won that game anyway. So I would say this. I hope to God Caleb doesn't drop out of the number 1 overall sweepstakes. I hope JD5 goes to Washington so Adam Peters who is a talent master at work, is able to couple what he's doing over there, how he's building around everything over there, and then Kingsbury unleashing this kid, JD5. But JD5 has his pro day on Wednesday, so get ready to hear a whole lot of, okay, Caleb's day was okay. Oh no, Caleb's day was bad because McCarthy just went. He was better. JD5's going, oh my God, JD5's the best. That's the way the pro days work. What have you done for me lately? Recency bias. Who was up last? That's why you want to go last. That's why you want to go last so you can make a big, lasting impression. You can throw the biggest pass. JD5 to me is easily the top quarterback in this draft class. I hope the God landing spot doesn't ruin him to a degree. See if we got anything else real quickly before let's go straight into the field stuff. So this is what Tomlin had to say. He reiterated that Russell Wilson has pole position to be starting QB, not against competition. And I don't know what he meant by what this phrase indicates here. Not against competition. That he is, Tomlin, not against competition, or that he's in pole position and not against competition. That part is unclear at this moment from this text anyway. But when it's time to compete, Justin will be given an opportunity to show his capabilities. And then at that bottom sentence, Fields oozes talent, he said. Mike Tomlin. Fields oozes talent. I would not be shocked if this narrative, and I've been telling you this for several days now, it's on the board up above, on the top of the board here. Justin Fields is starting by week 1 and is a top, 7 to 10 quarterback. It's going to be a matter of time before this narrative starts changing right in front of your very eyes. And if you don't think it's going to change, keep in mind, this is the same guy that said, hey, Javonte Williams may be on track to not be on the PUP, but he could be on the PUP, but I'm not going to really tell you what's going on anyway. Does anybody remember Sean Payton saying almost those exact words? Because I do. He said, I'm not going to tell you what's really going on anyway. So, if we're talking about Sean Payton and we bring up this situation here, where is that? He says, sorry, jump topics. Trading up for a quarterback is a realistic scenario. Then in the next breath, Sean Payton says, or where is that? Oh, I don't have the other clip here. This is both the same clip. He said that he is not against trading up in the draft, but Sean Payton then went on to say that he's not worried at the quarterback position. He's not stressing about it. He's not feeling a sense of urgency. This is smoke. This is all smoke. Tomlin, smoke. Sean Payton, smoke. My point being here, you got two coaches here, side by side, okay? Side by side. One coming, Russell Wilson, from Denver over to this situation. This is a guy that didn't want him. This is a guy that told you that you can't believe anything coming out of his mouth, right? He said that. This guy right here, Tomlin, says one moment, there's no starting competition. Wilson's in pole position. When the time comes, Justin will be given an opportunity to show his capabilities. He's oozing with talent. Just wait. These situations are going to unveil very differently when push comes to shove. Sean Payton is freaking out about his quarterback situation. He sent his quarterback, at all intents and purposes, over to this team, and he's paying the bill. He's paying him $30-something plus million a year to potentially try and be in pole position. But this man, Tomlin, is, I think, about to teeter-totter like a madman, a balancing beam. He won't know what's hit him. He'll literally be saying, I don't know which quarterback is going to start, and it's up for grabs. That's coming. Right now, he's in pole position. He's in pole position. Just wait till Fields gets out there, starts commanding more respect from the players than Russell Wilson. Just imagine what's going to happen when this guy Fields is loved by the fan base. The most electric quarterback the Steelers have had in quite some time. They haven't had a quarterback that feels this capable since Big Ben. So they're going to be excited about a running quarterback. They're going to be excited about a situation where Fields gets to be unlocked and make exciting plays in an offense that's been vanilla for how long in Pittsburgh? How long has it been vanilla? And Mike Sullivan comes in at the end and solves the problem, makes Mason Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, look pretty good. And he's the one that's going to be, it sounds like, in charge of the passing attack, which makes me very excited about what Fields is going to do in Pittsburgh. I really think Fields is going to step up. Back against the wall, nothing to lose. Confidence through the roof. Fields to the moon. Yeah, pole position. Russell Wilson is pole position to be a starting quarterback. And you'll see these reports like this one reported this way. He is pole position. Then you go to the next report where Tomlin said a little bit more, didn't he? That when time comes to compete, Russ will get a shot. Let's see here. I have this piece of news from nope. We're out of news. That's all of it. The phone lines are open. You want to talk Aiyuk, you want to talk Russell Wilson, you want to talk Justin Fields in that Pittsburgh battle. You want to flip on over to the Denver Broncos situation where they have no quarterback. They did have the Pittsburgh Steeler part of that half, that duo, and now they got nothing, but they're paying for it. The Denver Broncos are paying for half the Pittsburgh Steelers QB room. Dial in. Hit that like button on the way in the door. We've got how many people in here? We've got, let's see here. We've got 60 people on Twitter. We got about 160 on YouTube, and I don't know how many on IG, but dial in. Let's go.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
It's going to be very interesting. Maybe we'll get a few a few Aiyuk calls. And people can express themselves on why they feel like this just isn't going to happen. And that's okay, because it might not. Like, no one's saying the Niners' first objective is to get rid of Brandon Aiyuk. Of course it's not. Runner boy, Fields isn't very good. Okay. Good point, runner boy. Good point. Where were you earlier when I was making these predictions? I needed that insight, runner boy. 52 likes, step it up, says Travis. Hit that thumb up button, do it live. Yeah, Tomlin also said Jaylen Warren was their starter halfway through the season. We all know that didn't happen. Yeah, things are going to be very, very tricky for Russell Wilson very soon. Russell Wilson, who, honestly, props to him for giving Fields a warm welcome. He said, let's do this together. It's pretty classy of Russell Wilson, to be honest with you. Like, how many quarterbacks would, like, literally, I think he tweeted them and put a photo of, both of them and said, let's do this. I give Russell Wilson credit for that. I also wanted to say that Russell Wilson will eventually, in my opinion, be the best backup quarterback, or one of them in the league, which is fantastic. He comes in with his back against the wall. If, let's say, Fields, who's starting at week 4 or 5, gets hurt in week 9, knock on wood, and Russ has got to come in and cook for a couple games. I mean, this is a really good situation. Pittsburgh was very smart to do this, and I believe that the combo of the two hurts Russell Wilson, but does not hurt Fields whatsoever. And that's partly why Fields did have some say. When he had some say over this situation or that one, it was costing the Bears were getting a ham sandwich back anyway. He picked this situation because he said to himself, I think I can take the job from Russell Wilson. I think I can. Part of you's got to be like, when you hear this is Russell Wilson, that this is where Fields decided he would like to go of the options that were out there. And part of you's got to be like, damn, man. You really thought this was the best place, means you think you're going to take my job. But Russell Wilson is not the same player, and the pressure that will be on him will be enormous. Fields is all of the pressures on Russ. He's in pole position. That's not where you want to be. And I'll be completely frank. If Fields was in pole position right now, I'd be a little worried about that. I would. I think his back's against the wall. The fan base is going to love him. They want something exciting. The Steeler offense has been so vanilla, and there's so much potential. Pickens' value could go through the roof if Fields is able to unlock him. I'm very much getting behind Pickens and Fields the more I look into this potential Mike Sullivan calling a lot of the QB coordinating shots. That's how I'm feeling right now. Travis, you're live.
Hey, Smitty.
Yo.
I understand that these guys, D-Town and Sick Nasty, they're giving me crap because I agreed with you on saying that J.J. McCarthy isn't an elite prospect. And they said, oh, why is that? I said, well, he hasn't shown that he can consistently be an elite passer and carry a team, throwing. And I'm not saying he can't be good in the NFL or, I'm kind of on the same page as you. And I understand they're Michigan fans, so they're going to have a bias. But I don't understand what's so bad about saying he's not an elite prospect.
I don't know. It's like saying Brock Purdy's not.
Up other names.
It's like telling a Niner fan Brock Purdy's not a top 5 quarterback. He's probably top 10. He's getting there in the top 10. And they're like, what? Oh, my God. I can't believe you're saying such horrible things about Brock Purdy's character. Did you just call his mother a name? Like, it's unbelievable what that does to somebody. Like, J.J. McCarthy is like, who's saying that? D-Town and who? D-Town. You can make
D-Town and Sick Nasty.
Yeah,
they're not saying
no. I know. D-Town and Sick Nasty. You guys can make fun of me, but I don't. He's not an elite prospect. Could he become an elite player? Anybody can. Tom Brady was not an elite prospect. He was like dog water. Kurt Warner was not an elite prospect, and he couldn't even make the NFL. He had to like just keep working at it and figuring out a way to get on a field. But it doesn't. J.J. McCarthy could have more hidden skills than any of us non-Michigan absolute deep diving mofos can come up with and cook up. Like you might have a lead on what his potential could be, but to speak on it like the volume's out there, the production's out there, that just because he had a great pro day and he showed some of the tools you think are hidden, there's no elite prospect here. There's no elite prospect here. Could he eventually become one? Sure. Is there a good quarterback hiding? Maybe. And that's not a knock on Sick Nasty is my boy anyway. I don't mean that in a negative way to him, but you guys can come at me all you want. I'll say it over and over. He's not an elite prospect. It doesn't mean he can't become one. Bunchy, appreciate you dropping the super, and then the 7-month celebratory Caleb's a Robot says, I want a boat. Appreciate you dropping that. I'll get to this Cobble's $20 hauler. Bunchy just dropped a 20 wad. Go ahead real quick before I celebrate this one. Go ahead, Travis.
No, I was just going to say, and like people, not tonight, but I've seen people say, oh, why do people believe in Jaden Daniels? He only had one good year. Well, same with Burrow. Burrow had one good year, but they showed that they could be truly elite. And I know they had good, pieces around them and stuff, but they showed when given the opportunity, they could compete at an elite level, like above board elite level. I'm not talking just having a good season. D-Town's
saying I didn't see the conversation, so Travis was just telling me that, but D-Town's saying he was just asking your opinion. It wasn't trying to rip on your take or whatever. But regardless, I don't think.
That's what I said. I don't think in a bad way.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with D-Town or Sick Nasty saying I'm going to go out on a limb and predict something bold. Like that's fine too. Like there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying when people go the other way, like if I say he's not an elite talent, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that's an interesting take. I think he's an elite talent. Hey, that's an interesting take. That's totally different. But people are funny. I'm not saying D-Town you're doing this, but I'm imagining you might have maybe done this or you're thinking about this in your but like just because something doesn't jive with what the opinion is of the person watching, and then they go, I don't know what was said between the two of you, but like I'm gonna say things that nobody agrees with. I'm gonna say things that I won't even agree with 4 months from now. Like I'm an adjust and adapt person. I admit that up and down, and I even said about a month or so ago that if Fields were to go to Pittsburgh, I wouldn't draft him in fantasy because of Arthur Smith. I've amended that because I've been looking into it, and I don't think Arthur Smith is going to have a hand in the passing game situation. So things completely changed for me, and I've been digging into it a little bit. There's not a whole lot to go on because we're waiting, for more public, I would say, crownings of different roles there in that Pittsburgh offense. But it seems like Mike Sullivan, who is promoted, is not only an assistant coach, but also I believe he's the QB coordinator still. I think he has two different roles. Things change, So like, could McCarthy impress me, and I start getting on the McCarthy train? Sure, sure. And there's nothing wrong with having a different opinion at all. But I just don't think we can say he was on this winning team in these great situations, and well, he got taken off the field a lot at the end of games, so we got to give him this. We don't have to give him anything. Like, the numbers aren't. I just, when I watch film on him, I do not see a quarterback that screams, I can compete with Burrow, I can compete with Josh Allen, I can compete with all these guys. That is an elite quarterback. He's not an elite quarterback. He's not an elite prospect. Is Jaden Daniels elite yet? No, he's not elite, but I believe he's an elite prospect. Can an elite prospect fail? Absolutely. JD5 goes to the Bears. We might watch an elite prospect get flushed down the toilet. So big difference when we start talking about it. Hold on, let me celebrate this super chat right here by Bunchy, aka Jonathan. He says, I'm still high on Fields and trying to buy low. Just had a counter offer in Superflex Dynasty, my 1.3 for Fields, and 1.7. So 1.3 for Fields and 1.7. I would probably say, God, this is tough because what's the 1.7? Is that going to be a Dunze or Neighbors? Like, could they fall so far, or Bowers? And then you got Fields and Bowers, but then you're really gambling on Fields getting that job and getting it early. And what if he never gets it? What if he, it's so tough. Then again, I don't know that the third quarterback.
He has Mahomes, he's saying. Is that what he's saying? He has Mahomes.
I have Mahomes and Danny Dimes, yeah.
Is that what he's...
If you think you can get Marvin Harrison Jr. because it goes quarterback, I'd rather Marvin Harrison Jr. And I figure out what I got to do with QB. I'd try and trade for Fields later at another value. I give a future first rounder. I don't pass on MHJ. If I've got Mahomes at least and it's super flex, you didn't say mandatory QB, you said super flex. Big difference. You don't have to start a second quarterback. It's always advised that you do. Most teams that win will start two quarterbacks. But, like, you're telling me that Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to compete with the third rookie quarterback? Yeah, you will. Thank you for your $20 hauler. Let me hit this button real quick. Hold on, Travis. Appreciate you, Bunchy. Whoops.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Bunchy, appreciate you, pal. Bunchy to the moon.
Another one to you.
Bunchy says it's a heavy QB points per, but MHJ could be there. Yeah, I mean, as much as I love Fields, bro, you can't buy him like a starter right now. Like, my whole hyping him up, it should come at a evaluation process of, like, he's going to surprise everybody. Bunch. If you go after getting him at value of he's already starting, like, that's when you've lost. You're not taking advantage of the value. And part of me wonders if you've already poked around too much of this and you're going to make it very difficult for you. Like, hey, what do you want for Fields? Hey, what do you want for Fields? Hey, I really like Fields. Now he's like, this guy wants Fields. This guy obviously loves this Pittsburgh Steelers landing spot. He's going crazy for Fields, and he might not trade him for anything. Like, I don't know. It seems like you may have, I don't know. I don't know if you soiled the bet or not. I'm not sure. But I think you're buying him too high. Because Fields is a backup, bro. Right now he's a backup. Pole position. Goes to Russ. Can't be buying him at that price. I take Marvin Harrison Jr. I find a way. Trade a future first rounder for Fields. And you know what you could do? And I'm not even saying that's smart. It depends on what your team scores. If you have the 12th pick, then it may work out. and I'm not saying this is a smart move, but try and trade like, I mean, can't you trade the oh no, he's giving you the 1.7. Can't you trade a couple of second rounders and a player? But like, let's say in a worst case scenario, you were like, if I get Marvin Harrison Jr., I can win this thing. If I get Fields or even a competent quarterback that comes in, you could always do the old float an accidental message out there and say, well, would a first rounder for Fields work? And here's this guy saying no. And then everybody starts going, oh my God, is he going to do that? Because no one's going to like that trade. I think everyone's going to call it crazy. And I don't even know that I would for sure do it. Because what if Fields fails? Like, you're giving up a future first rounder. I'm just saying, if you wanted to give up a first rounder for Fields, I would rather float the arbitrary future first rounder in a super flex. But if Fields fails, you're going to be kicking yourself later. I think you need to trade him for less value or just let the guy sit on it for a while. And maybe the value goes down. Maybe this report today, maybe you rescind the report. Say, I just saw the report that Russell's in pole position. So I'm going to rescind my offer. The most I'd give you is a couple second rounders. That's probably what I would do. I think you start going down this other road. You start going down this other road. You're just overpaying when you don't need to. And if you won't trade him, you won't trade him. You know, Bunch. That's all I'm saying. The Isaac is on the line real quick. Isaac, what's up?
Yo, I just want to say I cannot wait for this Russell Wilson, Justin Fields situation to unfold.
Yeah. 2.3,
and
perfect,
then a question
Bunch.
really for
Sorry.
for you.
Hold on real quick. I'm sorry. Bunchy says he said 2.3, perfect. 2.3, even a future second rounder for Fields should get it done. And honestly, if you floated it out there in the chat, they might laugh at it and make him do it. I've done that before, where the guy just won't trade for anything. I'm like, I'm giving him a screaming steal. And you type in the chat, what about the 2.3 and a future second rounder for Fields? And then he goes, he's about to say no, and everyone's like laughing at it. And then he just hits the button because he wants to be the hero. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, Isaac. Go ahead.
Oh, it's cool. That's a good setup right there.
Yeah.
You know, being who Mike Tomlin is, I feel like he's no BS. He's no BS with the organization, the players, you know, making decisions. I feel like ultimately he's gonna start who's better. And if Russell has to take a back seat and just kind of, you know, help Fields out, what are your thoughts there? Do you think that he would, let's say Justin wins the job, is he going to just play Russell to start anyway?
If Russell Wilson loses the job, like in obvious
start of the season.
Yeah,
eventually I think he will. I agree with you. I think he'll lose it eventually.
Right, eventually. But if he loses
are they going to start Justin right away?
I think, like I said, I think the narrative is going to change. Right now, the narrative is that Fields is the backup, and that Fields can't. You know, he's got a lot of talent. As soon as the fan base gets a taste of this, of the way the offense could be, the fan base is going to be calling for it. I think there's going to be a lot of fear behind. We can't have Russell Wilson screw this up. We feel very confident in Fields, and we feel like the team is behind Fields. The locker room is behind Fields. However, it would not shock me at all if Russell Wilson's a great practice player and he commands everything perfectly in the offseason, and then he goes out there and folds like a chair during the year. You know what I mean? So, like, you can't really put it past Russ to keep the job until week 1 and then quickly relinquish it by week 2, 3, or 4 if you're losing games. But I do believe the narrative, and my prediction is that Fields takes it by week 1. That's my new prediction.
Wow.
And I think that...
And also considering the division's so tough, and it's getting tougher. And Burrow will be back. Ravens looking great. Browns looking better. That's going to be a tough decision for the Steelers to make no matter what.
Yeah. So I think it just depends on how much of an opportunity Fields gets. They may not want Fields to get as big of an opportunity. If he starts looking like he's going to take the job and they don't want that for whatever reason, who the hell knows? And a lot of people in the chat are saying Russell could get cut at some point. It wouldn't be crazy. You know, like the Cam Newton example someone said in the chat. It would not be crazy if let's say he was just absolutely crap in the bed. His confidence was shot, and they're like, Let's just make him. He's $1 million. Let's just make a move. But at the end of the day, I think because I don't feel like Russell Wilson losing the job will be nipping at the heels in reverse at Fields once Fields has it. I think Fields will be nipping at Russ's heels, but I do not feel, even if Russ takes the job by week 1, that Fields will be looking over his shoulder. I think he'll have the confidence at that point, the fan base at that point, and at that point, I think that makes Russell Wilson one of the better backups in the NFL. You know, like Howell. Like, you go in for 2 or 3 games, you can win a game or 2 of those. So I don't know that they cut him, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility if, let's say, he folds and starts, like, you know, looking really bad. But I don't think Tomlin or the Steelers will have a worry in the world or a concern with making this move later if Fields looks like he's earned it publicly. But, like, right now, bro, we're in March. We got all of April, May, June, July, August. We have 5 months, and already in not even a couple weeks, we have already Tomlin saying something very different than he said initially. Like, Russell Wilson's the starter.
Yeah,
now it's Russell Wilson's the starter. Now it's Russell Wilson's the starter, but when it's time to compete, Justin will be given an opportunity to show his capabilities. He uses talent. That's very different already. We're talking about a couple, you know, how many days have really gone by? I think Russell
10
Wilson.
days, maybe?
Yeah, we got so much time.
And I feel like the narrative is going to change quickly. That's why I initially said I cannot wait to just see this play out. And I love that it's happening in that division. It's just going to be entertainment. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people hate Fields, and it's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you, because everyone's judging him. And no offense to anybody that's going to come in with a big paragraph. Some of you write like this long of a paragraph in my YouTube comments. And I don't mean this in a callous way, because I love every commenter. It's engagement for the channel. It's like you're being a great follower. But I don't read somebody's Fields post that's this long. I just don't. You're wasting your time. Like, if you're going to go, Smitty, let me tell you why. Let me fantasy explain you why Fields is bad. His completion percentage was XYZ. He did this. Tell you exactly what's going on. You're just dead wrong about Fields. I literally go, next, and I move on to help somebody. I don't care about you trying to convince me I'm wrong about Fields. I really give 2 craps. I'm sorry. That's just me being real. Okay, I'd rather move on and help a commenter that asks a great question or has a great comment or is propping up the community. I only have so much time to get to every comment I can, and I'm going to stop and read a paragraph this long that literally, like, I is longer than any book I've ever read in college. Like, I'm literally zero desire to be fantasy explained why Fields is bad. I obviously disagree. So...
It's a simple eye test, as we all know.
Yeah,
and looking at last year, for example, Wilson had a small stretch there, but everybody knew from an eye test that signing with Denver was awful. And just handed over money.
I'll be honest, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but I was wondering, like, good God, like, what is this going to look like? This is a lot of money, yeah. and I'll be honest, I was wondering. And if I could go back in that moment in time, I think I probably wasn't super pessimistic on it. I probably was like, man, Aaron Rodgers should have went, and thank God he didn't. I don't know.
I have to agree. I mean, when that signing actually happened, I was mixed, but I was leaning towards not great, but we'll see. But
we had seen him unfold
them
completely.
To pay him a bunch of money, and he played 9 games.
Yeah,
or whatever.
he hadn't unfolded completely yet. Fields to Pickens, Ray G says. Ray, I couldn't agree more. I know you're not saying anything but Fields to Pickens, but I think that this needs a standing ovation, to be honest with you.
To the moon.
To the moon. I mean, really, like, what more can you say? Fields to Pickens. I mean, that's just.
Where's your mashed potatoes?
Yeah, buddy. Couldn't agree more, Ray G. Ray G's a unicorn, by the way. What else you got? Travis, you got anything else? And the phone lines are open. If anybody wants to dial in. Dial on in. Travis?
Hey, the last thing I'll say on the McCarthy thing is that I don't know who was. Someone was saying, well, a lot of people are saying he's an elite prospect. Well, let's rewind like 2 weeks even, or 3 weeks, a month. No one was saying it. No one was saying he was even a top 10 pick. You know, you wouldn't have got anyone to put money on that. So there's a lot of bandwagon fans and people that jump on when news comes out, and that's fine. People should get excited, and that's what makes this football talk good and fun and all that. But nobody was saying that like 2 weeks ago.
And again, there's nothing wrong with having a different opinion, and there's nothing wrong with changing your mind. There's nothing wrong with Travis coming back in, a month from now going, you know what? I really like what I'm seeing out of McCarthy. He doesn't owe anybody anything. If Travis feels that way about McCarthy a month and a half from now, and he says, you know what? I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm hearing. He doesn't owe anything to anybody. You don't have to apologize. You don't have to backtrack. You don't have to do any of that garbage.
But the thing is,
because you're allowed to adjust and adapt. Hold on, Travis. You're allowed to adjust and adapt. Travis is allowed to think. D-Town's allowed to think whatever he wants. Everyone can have their own opinion. The only time you ever kind of get, I think, a little bit called out maybe is when you believe someone else's opinion is garbage. And I'm not saying I'm immune to maybe taking something too far, or maybe I react once in a while, but to be fair, it is unfair, because this is your boy's show, and this show is ultimately about what my opinion is, and then I of course take callers and appreciate everybody that dials in. And Terrell, please mute yourself. You are one of the loudest callers, or the loudest background noise we have, so we do need to have you mute just until we get to you. Usually it's usually Terrell. Terrell, there's usually someone in your background going, "Hey, pass the mashed potatoes." There's always something going on in Terrell's background. Let's go to Terrell real quick. Terrell, what's up? You're live.
All right, I just want to do a trade live. Pretty much, I want to ask you.
All right.
So I have Saquon Barkley and Devon Achane. Who would you rather have, them or Breece Hall and Travis Etienne?
Barkley
in Dynasty.
Barkley, Achane, or Hall and who?
Hall and Etienne.
good one.
Yeah, I'd probably say, damn, bro. You got me good on this one, because
yeah, this is a tough one.
It's tough.
Okay, so the best player in the deal is Breece Hall. He's top 4 potential. Barkley's in Dynasty probably a tad lower in Dynasty value than in redraft value. But in redraft, let's just use redraft value just so we can have the highest value of Barkley. So 12 overall. So he's 12 overall. Achane is 15 overall. Hall is number 4 overall, let's say. And Etienne is disrespectfully a 4th rounder. But I think we all can admit, coming off a top 5 running back season, he's the one that no one's evaluating properly. You got to in Dynasty, you got to go the Hall Etienne side. It's got the youth, it's got the more secure side of it, and as much as we love Achane, this side just screams I don't care if this is 30 something overall value. It really shouldn't be. He's a very underrated player, Etienne. So you got 15 overall, 12 overall, 4 overall, and then a disrespectful 30-ish plus overall type Dynasty value, and that I take this side. Smash it.
Smash it. All right, I appreciate you, Smitty.
All right, man. You keep doing you, Terrell. Later, bro.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, that was easy at the end of the day. Did what's his name hang up? Isaac hung up. Isaac, you hung up. All right, what Travis?
You're saying if you could have some people argue for 1 year, Barkley could be amazing, but I think Hall will be just as good as Barkley this year. So, you can't even really use that argument in the deal when it comes to Dynasty.
This is a good argument. Smitty, I love your show. Glad I found it. Thank you, H. Appreciate you. It's a good one. Yeah, the chat overwhelmingly is saying Hall, smash it. Etienne, Hall, easy. Breece Hall. Yeah, the chat totally agrees. Dynasty, you take the Hall side easy. I don't think one person's voted that other side. As much as we love, and I will say this, Terrell, if you're still listening, I think I still try and trade for Achane. I like Barkley, but he's older. What is he? Ziggy, how old is Saquon Barkley? Isn't he 27? 27 February.
Yeah,
so he just turned 27. Ziggy, volume 10. There you go. You couldn't even hear him. But Saquon Barkley, you know, when we're talking about Dynasty, he's got 1, maybe 2 years left, so he's got tremendously deceptive Dynasty comparative to redraft value. Achane, love him, but you got to value him right. He's a guy that can explode from his ADP, but you have to buy him at his ADP, which is like 15 to 18 overall. Some would say even later, maybe. And so for me, I'm first round. I trade a first rounder for Achane in a heartbeat. I would.
Could he get him using ETN and something?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely trade ETN for him, and that's not like everybody's cup of tea, but like, that's fine.
You might be able to ETN and
second
throw something in even.
ETN a couple seconds, yeah. ETN a couple. I like that.
Yeah.
There you go, bro. ETN a couple seconds. Do it live. Do it live.
Because you could definitely sell it as ETN is, you know, the bell cow for that team, quote unquote, and Achane is competing with Mostert. Look what Mostert did last year. You know?
Yes, sir. All right, what else? Phone lines are open. If anybody wants to dial in and talk Brandon Aiyuk, I'd love to have a conversation. I'd like to have a conversation with a pro Aiyuk, like Aiyuk's not getting traded. I'm not saying I want someone to call in and argue with me. I'm not asking you to fabricate anything. I want to know, I want to hear from somebody that's like, Aiyuk's not going anywhere. And it's okay if you feel that way. But I just want to know, you know, what's making everybody, other than blind, you know, hope that Aiyuk ain't going anywhere. I just want someone to give us a little something on that. In Dynasty, take Hall all day long. Absolutely.
What you think it's going to cost for the Niners to be tempted to move him? Do you think it'll be a first, or do you think like a second would do it?
For what?
For Aiyuk.
It has to be a first.
For the Niners to move Aiyuk.
There's no way. Even if, let's say, the market value for Aiyuk turned out to be a second rounder, the Niners would not even contemplate it. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, okay, well, if we can't get him, if we can't get the 17 or the 15 or maybe the 20, maybe the 24 and something. Like Dallas, let's say Dallas wanted Aiyuk. Like Dallas could, I don't know, Jerry Jones, sometimes I wonder, I don't know, sometimes I wonder that he's going to make a big move and a splash because he kind of likes to, but then, you know, you hear everybody in Dallas say he's not going to spend the money, and I'm like, and even I said that they would bring in Henry, Barkley, or Jacobs because it was logical. There I'm wrong again. Logic goes right out the window. Jerry Jones penny pinches at the running back position, the position that got them in trouble. All like Jerry Jones walks out. I don't know if he's going senile. He might be going senile, but he walks out of this this playoff loss, this embarrassing loss, and like, I don't know what we need to shake up, what we need to do. But you need a running back, Jerry. And everybody on ESPN and the big talking heads, including me, were saying, go get Henry. It's very obvious. Go get Jacobs. It's pretty obvious. Go get Barkley. It's pretty damn obvious. What does he do? Sleeps through all of the beginning of free agency, apparently, and doesn't make a single move. And maybe it ends up okay. Why? Because the NFL draft is approaching. And Dallas will probably, logic would tell you, but guess what? Logic hasn't been right yet for the Dallas Cowboys. Logic would tell you the number one rookie running back will be playing football for the Dallas Cowboys. Whether it's Jalen Wright, Blake Corum, Braylon Allen, Trey Benson, whatever running back lands in Dallas probably is the top rookie running back. And everyone's going to know it. I think we talked about that the other day too. So they're going to climb up. You know, they're not going to be very cheap. But if they don't address the running back that way and they think Dowdle is the guy, I Dowdle, he's him.
People love Dowdle. I don't see it.
I don't really think he's the guy.
Here's what I found.
Oh, Ziggy, shut up. Anyway, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Dallas. But, yeah, phone lines are open. Dial in. Steelers depth chart is Quez Watkins, wide receiver 1, Calvin Austin, wide receiver 2, George Pickens, wide receiver 3. This is part of why. Is that how it's really listed? Hot Prime. Are they really putting Pickens 3? It wouldn't surprise me if that feels like how Pickens is like getting. I don't want to say treated, but he's a diva, and this won't help. This won't help if that's the way to talk about him. What's going on, Bruce?
Hey, Smitty.
You're live.
I came to ask a question about your boy Aiyuk.
My boy Aiyuk.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I just like to say that.
Yeah. He's your boy,
Now,
not my boy.
if
But go
you're
ahead.
Not my boy. If you're like the Bills or the Chiefs, do you say, look, I'll give you my first round pick this year and my first round pick next year just to get him?
First round pick this year. If you're the who? What team?
The Bills or the Chiefs?
No, that's too costly, man. But like, would I give up like an additional pick? Like, let's call it a third rounder or something on top of the 32 overall or the 28? Because the bottom line is the 28 and 32 might not get it done, and maybe teams would be like, "That's crazy. Then we don't want them." And I get that because teams overvalue draft picks like crazy. But if you would surrender the 17 straight up, the 15 straight up, and a Niner fan would be like, we're not taking anything but a top 5. That's the way they talk about it. But in reality, the Niners would very much contemplate a 17, 20. 24 is kind of like, it's not that they wouldn't do it, but there have to be some unrest with Aiyuk and the team to the point where they're like, this isn't going to get resolved. Like, we're not paying him what he wants, and he's not budging, and it's going to get ugly. Let's just get rid of him. Let's bring in a Brian Thomas Jr. Boom! You know, like that.
I got it.
But real quickly, I'll just say that there's no way you give up 2 first rounders for Brandon Aiyuk. There's no way. It doesn't matter if it's just the end. If you gave up the 32 or the 28, you probably have to give up another pick somewhere. Would it be a third rounder? I don't know. Remember Christian McCaffrey? He's a running back. They get totally disrespected, but he went for a second, a third, and a fourth. So.
What about if you're the Bills? Maybe this kind of sounds nuts, but a first-round pick and Diggs. For Aiyuk.
Well, I don't. The Niners would not take. If the Niners are going to take on Diggs' massive contract, Bruce, which is through the roof, they're just going to pay Aiyuk. You know, so that's not going to happen. And give up draft capital? No.
Just because.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun scenario, but there's zero chance the Niners say we're not paying you Aiyuk. Oh, but we'll take on Diggs' awful contract, which is way bigger than anybody wants to take on. And then, you know, so there's nothing there. And give up a first rounder? No way. What I think could happen, though, is the Buffalo Bills surrender the 28 overall, and they somehow trade Diggs because he goes off his rocker and becomes a diva in the offseason. Everybody says Diggs is staying, good for you. The moment this guy decides, I'm going to throw a fit again, they may very much be like, we're done. And they could send him. So a draft day trade, Diggs, wouldn't surprise me at all. A trade during the draft. The Niners are notorious for trading early in the draft, the first, second round, on draft day. So there could be some sort of Diggs gets moved, or could they cut him? Probably not, unless it was bad. Like this guy went off the rails or something. They'd be like, look, he's toxic. We're done with him. Like teams have done it before, but they're not. There's too much money to lose. The dead cap is enormous. They're not cutting him unless something crazy goes down. So can they trade him? I don't know what team would take him on, to be honest with you, man. It's such a bad contract. It's such a big, massive contract. I think he does have one more elite year potentially left. I think Hod Prime was kidding about the depth chart. The Steelers did not list him. He was joking. Bad joke, Prime. Because you caused a little panic from people the way they thought the Steelers were disrespecting Pickens on the depth chart. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if that's how they were treating him on the depth chart. Like, hey, let's put him number 3, see what he does. Like, I really just feel like Pickens, just poke at him, see what happens. But Prime was kidding. So everybody looking at the depth chart, you're going to be disappointed. It's not. I don't think it's showing him that as third. Not that he's third. Of course, we know that. But, like, would they list him that way? I don't know. But back to the question here, Diggs. Where would Diggs go? I would love to see him in Indy. I don't think Indy would do that. They just paid Pittman a whole bunch of money. Denver. I mean, I don't think so. The teams with the most cap space. I can pull that up. I have that readily available. And it's, let's see here. I know the Niners creep back up into having like I think it's mid-range cap space available. They're not in the top 10, but they did release a lot of money. Patriots have 50 mil. They're the most. Commanders have 49.4 mil. They got 2 wide receivers, though. Are they capable of drafting JD5 and bringing Diggs in? Maybe. With 49.4 mil available. I mean, you never know. I would do it. I would put JD5 and Diggs together. McLaurin, Dotson, Kingsbury, Adam Peters, do it live. Titans have 39.8, but they're not going after a wide receiver. Chargers have 35.3, but I don't think they get rid of Keenan Allen to bring in another older player that's dropping off, so I don't think they're likely. Eagles have 33.6 mil. Cardinals 31.4. That would be crazy. There's a lot of T. Higgins to the Cardinals talk, even if they draft Marvin Harrison Jr. You wonder what the Cards would consider there. Bengals 27.6. If T. Higgins does go elsewhere in a trade, it wouldn't be crazy with the amount of cap space that they have available. Lions 26.6. Vikings 23.9. They're not going after another wide receiver. Bears 22.7. I mean, you never know. Broncos 22.5. Colts 22.1. I love the Indy landing spot. And Packers 22 mil. And Rams 20.7. That's cap space right there. So that tells you who can really afford to do it. And really the only things that come to mind, the only teams that come to mind, the Cardinals, they have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 most cap dollars available. And then the Commanders. So like Commanders, Patriots, and Cardinals feel like the most capable team of maybe making a weird, crazy move like that. But Diggs is not easy to trade.
No. Oh, did you hear what my last question is, did you hear what Kevin O'Connell said? When he said,
tell me, Bruce.
I'm either going to, he was like, there's so much talent in this draft. I don't really have to move up to get somebody. He says, I might get my quarterback later in the draft. I don't have to pick him at 11 or 23.
Well,
he said there's so much depth.
I mean, if I'm drafting in this draft too, I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to say, you know what? This Milton guy's my... Oh, did I just give it away? Oh, no. You guys all know who I'm drafting right now. I could care less what a coach or GM admits right now before they go into a competitive space to draft the best guy and try and turn their franchise around. It is a good, interesting comment, Bruce, for sure. I'm not knocking the reporting you're doing on it. So good job, Bruce. Appreciate you. But
I know he hyped up Sam Darnold.
I take it with a grain of salt. This is not like Draft Day. Draft Day is one of my favorite movies. I shouldn't say that. It's one of my favorite, like, put it on repeat near the NFL draft time frame movies, sports movies. But it is definitely really weird. The way that the GMs will call each other up and be like, hey, what do you know about Stevenson? And Sonny's like, I'm not going to, whatever. He's like, just tell me you're not going to draft him now. Tell me what's bad or good about him. Like, they're going to share information like that and help each other win or lose.
He also,
I'll be throwing.
He also doesn't want to have to give up 3 first rounds.
That was Matt.
Either, you know?
Yeah. Well, real quickly, I got 2 super chats coming in, but let's go to Ron Navy real quick, and then I'm going to hit these super chats real quick. I'll get them prepared on screen. Ron, you're live. Go ahead, Bruce. You can stay there if you want, whatever you want, pal.
Smitty, I got to jump. I'm going to listen to the rest of the phone.
All right, later, Travis.
That was Vontae Mack.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think of Von? And he ends up taking him, right? So like, what do you think of it? That's why you would never tell anybody. You don't know what draft pick you're going to end up trading later, and like, so it was ridiculous. And the way they painted the NFL, like they're that lackadaisical with their information. So yeah, if a coach or a GM's like, we're actually don't mind Joe Milton at 35 overall, like if anybody believes that, they're crazy. Smoke. It's why smoke season. It's the definition of smoke season. Joe Salters, first off season with you, Smitty. Love your material. Thank you, Joe. Joe to the moon with a $2 hauler. Follows it up with a 5. He says, inherited a crap dynasty team. Half PPR, 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex. Would you trade the 2.2? Would you trade the 2.2 and 25 third rounder for Jaden Reed? I don't hate that trade. I think, could the 2.2 be a Leggett or Malachi Corley or somebody that I like almost just as much? Maybe, but I don't mind that. It's not crazy. Look, so it depends on how hard wide receiver 3s are to come by. I played in a league once where you couldn't get any receivers for anything, and I was dying at my wide receiver 3. I was bleeding out every week, and I would have died for that trade. In another league, it's like I've got such a deep bench, it wouldn't do me any good. 208 caller, real quickly, you're live. Who is this and where are you calling from?
Hey, Smitty, this is Mark here out of Idaho. How you doing?
What's up, Mark from Idaho? What can I do for you, pal?
All is well. Lifetime Niner fan here, 30 years. You said you wanted someone to call and talking about Aiyuk.
Yeah.
My take on it is, to be honest with you, I don't think he's going anywhere unless I don't know what these guys, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, are willing to give up for him. But I also don't think we're looking for a wide receiver in the draft, right? I think we're going to go heavy defense and offensive line, probably offensive line first. So I don't see us drafting a wide receiver. And I also don't think – I think it's going to take a first-rounder to get Aiyuk out of San Francisco. That's my honest take. So I really do think he stays.
Yeah, and of course you do. I mean, why would you want him to stay? So you're going to have a biased take toward him, which is fine. And I totally, understand that take. But again, like I tell a Niner fan that says he's not going anywhere, this Debo did the same thing, relax. I mean, that's true. I say that all the time. But again, what it comes down to, whenever you have a divorce in this type of situation, it comes down to, is there a broken connection between the two that's hard to repair? And then does somebody come along and offer something you can't refuse? That's it. This is the formula. There's nothing else that stands in the way of a divorce from happening. And so
you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So if let's say Aiyuk, who created a lot of drama today off of the back of John Lynch coming out and saying everything's fine, and Aiyuk immediately saying money talks, bullshit walks, right off the back of that.
Right.
He's not happy. Okay, so there is unrest in San Francisco, and if he wants $30 million a year, I'm not saying he does, but JJ's turning down $30 million a year in 2023. Imagine what JJ's gonna get, 33 mil, whatever. If something like that went down, or he just knows that's happening and he values himself at 25, 26, and the Niners are like, bro, you're a 22 or a 21 mil a year guy, Aiyuk. And let's be completely frank, if you were going to pay Aiyuk $24 million a year, you are doing it on a lot of spec that he's going to become what he hasn't yet fully become. And that's okay.
Very true.
It's okay. Agree. It's okay if you're going to take a little gamble on that. He's your guy. He's in the system. He knows the system. It's a good marriage, right? For sure. His route running is crispy. Right. Debo says you can't guard him in a phone book. Debo's right. This guy is actually, one of the better route runners up and coming in the league. He's ASU alum. I love that. I love Aiyuk. Aiyuk. Yeah. I told all the Niner fans, I don't know if you remember, I told all the Niner fans in Raj's live who Aiyuk was. I'm the one in Raj's live that said, yeah, you remember.
I remember that.
I said, you guys need to draft Brandon Aiyuk. And everyone's like, well, Aiyuk, who's that? And I said, ASU, I'm at ASU. Believe me, this kid, go gadget arms. Literally, we talked about that. Everybody joked about it. Yeah. So I love Aiyuk. I love Aiyuk.
And then rookie year leaps over I forgot his name, the Eagle safety, leaps right over him. Right? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
No, but I think you hit it on the head, Smitty, is that it's going to come down to how deep and how bad is that unrest in the locker room, right? I don't know. Obviously, none of us do their relationship, with Brandon Aiyuk and the higher-ups there in San Francisco. So I think you're right. That's a crucial part of it. Is Aiyuk wanting to stay? Is he wanting to go? I mean, who knows?
And I don't think there's unrest with the players. I think the players support him. And Kittle sent out an additional decoded message.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, I believe it was insinuating a bunch of just being funny, but also like pay the man,
right.
Alien emoji, give him the bag, shows him walking, shows him running.
Absolutely.
These guys are going to support him getting his bag. The problem is,
right.
The real root of the problem is Shanahan and John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan going through the same process over and over. I find it so funny when someone comes in. I find it so funny when someone comes in and goes, "This same thing happened with Debo last, 2 years ago. It'll be fine. It'll be fine." That's the concern. I don't want what happened to Debo.
Exactly.
Did Bosa play out of his mind? Coming off
Absolutely not. No. He even admitted to playing poor because of it, because of holding out. He admitted to it.
Bosa admitted that, right?
100%.
Did Debo play good coming off his holdout?
Not near as good as the year that paid him, right?
And he admitted it was the holdout that did it. So like I don't know why I've become public enemy number one in San Francisco when I'm merely just trying to advocate for the player. Pay Aiyuk. Don't ruin your 2024 Brandon Aiyuk season, San Francisco. Like, how much clearer can I be? How much more of a Niners supporter can I really be by coming out in favor of Aiyuk getting paid now versus later, so you don't see a replication of Bosa and Debo and Aiyuk playing very badly coming off of a holdout offseason? What more? How did I become public enemy number one when I'm merely speaking the truth, advocating for the player, and saying, pay the man? Pay the man.
You'd like to think if we're saying that, you'd like to think that they would know the same thing behind closed doors, right? I'm hoping and praying you're right, Smitty, and I hope it happens soon. Golly.
As a Niner fan, I respect you calling in, and I wish more people understood what I'm saying like you do. All right.
Absolutely. No, I enjoy this. I enjoy the show, Smitty, and you're always coming up with factual things that I agree with, so I appreciate it. And like I said, it's a pleasure watching you. I appreciate you having me on.
Mark to the moon later. Ron
Take
Nagin.
care.
Yeah, I think that Prime made that comment. Prime's always trying to push my buttons. I think he made that comment. You can ask him in the chat, but he made it to push my button, I think, when he said Pickens number 3 wide receiver. He's always doing that.
I didn't look into it. I just assumed, did they really, teams have done that before. They've come out with a weird depth chart, and I was like, what in the hell? So I wondered if Prime was. Come on, Prime.
He's trying to push buttons, I think. I can't see the chat right now. Actually, I'm at the ER in the parking lot.
Are they everything good?
Wife's getting fluids. She's dehydrated.
Prayers up for Miss Navy, guys.
So, but I was gonna stand up, but it's so windy here. I would have all you would have heard was wind, so I had to jump in the car and talk. But no, I won't. I didn't know what I missed because I didn't get here until you were already 50-some minutes into the show. So I'm guessing it's kind of the same as earlier, but more in depth.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about I know we're repeating a lot this time of year, but I always feel like I come with something new, something different. So, even though we're talking Fields and Russell Wilson again, it's brand new news today about it. I'm not just going to come in and rehash the same thing, but it does have us go in a similar direction. But this is all news. This is all new. Aiyuk tweeted this, he Instagram posted this out immediately after John Lynch, and so I'm rehashing that a little bit. But other than that, open phone lines. We hit the news pretty quickly. So yeah, we're kind of stopped on these topics right here, but.
On the Diggs thing, I think that any team not only is they got to take on this huge contract, but they're potentially bringing in toxicity into the locker room. The way he is, he'll come in all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and all positive, but one thing goes, and he'll turn that into a negative, and then you got toxicity running into the locker room wherever he goes. You know, that's the thing I'd worry most about him.
Yeah. Yep.
But
I think.
Anyways, I'm not going to keep you. I'm going to go back inside.
All right.
And, love you, Stat. And I just wanted to let you know what was going on because I know you told me to call in.
Prayers
on the show,
up.
But
prayers up for Miss Navy. All right, Ron. Keep us posted later, man.
I'll talk to you later.
Later.
All right, bye.
Bruce, you got anything else? Brucey to the moon. You there? Hello? You know what? If you're not going to answer me, Bruce, I'm going to put your mom on.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special message from the Bruce's mother.
Get Bijan.
You're on mute, brah.
Imagine watching your favorite show and your own mother just shows up on the screen and tells you, hey.
Yeah.
You're on mute, brah. Your own mother's yelling at you on your favorite show.
Yeah.
That's his mother for real. By the way, she's a veteran, a legend on this channel. What else you got, Bruce?
What? In a redraft, what pick should Bijan go? So, because we draw cards, and I drew the ace, so I pick wherever I want to go. What pick should I say? Okay, I'm settled here. Besides number one, maybe, but be settled and say I can sit here and take Bijan here and be comfortable.
You know what? No matter what, Bruce, I take the one because you never know what injuries are going to happen. You never know how things are going to play out. You never know how your opinion is going to change, and you also get those back-to-back. Let's draw it this way. You're going to get those back-to-back picks, and you're going to get that second rounder and third rounder nestled real nice and tight right here at the 24 and 25 overall. So even if you reach a little bit here, the fact that you're bringing this 25 or this third rounder up to the top pick, you just can't go wrong unless it's like a reverse third round, whatever, third round reversal. I really, really never, ever pass on this 1.1. It just doesn't make any sense, man. Like granted, you know, maybe if you went in the middle of the pack, you could get H-N here. You could go JJ. I don't even know where JJ goes. Does he go 3, 4? And then you can get like H-N and then you have a balanced approach. I don't mind that at all. Like if you went that route, I could be like, you know what? I like that, Bruce. You could very much convince me to do it. But end of the day, man, to have those back-to-back picks, you can really do whatever you want with them. I imagine you're going to have a wide receiver here that you really like. I think you'll be okay. You mix in Marvin Harrison Jr. and a couple other guys. Maybe Neighbors is even in here that bumps somebody else down. Or, you know, you could even go Neighbors if you wanted with one of the picks. But I like this. Unless you know you can get... Like, let's say you're to take the 5. Unless you know that this... If you take the 5 overall... And you know for a fact that this middle of the second round is going to be gold to you... I would say take the 1, but like if you know something that no one else knows and you're going to get somebody here, then, you know, it's tough to say. Either way, I could smash with it, bro. You know, especially even if it was like Mahomes or something in the third round, which, you know, he's going in the fourth in redraft, but in Dynasty, I wouldn't even let him go to the fourth round. But like if you were to go, let's say JJ, H-N, and Mahomes, like that's balance that I love.
And here's another thing I have on Fields. This is on a fantasy though. Remember how we had the debate on Taysom Hill? Everyone was complaining that he was doing this, he was doing that. What are they gonna do with Fields if he does that?
Yeah. Yep. We'll be having that video, don't worry. My only thing is I don't know if he becomes the starter before that. But, like, if we start approaching the offseason where he is, a QB, like, first of all, I don't think they're going to designate him anything but a QB. So it's going to be one of those things where I don't know that any platform's going to go near putting him as a tight end. That was where Taysom had the value. He's a tight end that played quarterback. So Fields will probably never be designated a tight end. Could he be designated an RB? Depends on how he's, labeled and if he's the backup quarterback and all that. And I can't imagine him not being the number 2 every week. So I don't think we'll see Taysom, but if we ever got there, you could bet your bottom dollar we're coming out with content on how to destroy with Justin Fields as a RB or something like that. But I'm not going to.
I was like, in my vision, I was like, what? I'm drafting him, and he's going to end up doing this.
Taysom plays tight end, and Fields will never play tight end. So, all right, my boy. We'll see you later, Brucey. Appreciate you.
All right. See you later.
Keep calling in each week or each night. Later. Bruce to the moon. All right, guys. I'm out of here for now. I'll probably be back later, I imagine, at least on the Dynasty channel. Please hit the thumb up button on the way out the door. Thank you to my super chatters. Thank you, Cobble, for dropping 2. We got a $20 hauler from Cobble, a.k.a. Bunchy, and a $2 hauler. And then Joe dropping a $5 and a $2 hauler. Appreciate that. And then we had a celebratory message from I Want a Boat. It says Caleb is a robot. A lot of people think he's AI. So, all right, appreciate you all, and we'll see you later tonight on the Dynasty channel. If you don't know about the Dynasty channel, it's in the description. It's youtube.com/Dynasty Fantasy Football. You're watching youtube.com/The Fantasy Football Show, and I know we haven't done Rumble in a while. We will get back to Rumble. I've just been focusing so hard on these 2 channels that I haven't forgot about it. I haven't written it off. We're going to reattack it, but we're not letting anything slip on these 2, so appreciate you all.
Liftoff of mission 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hi, my name is B. John Robinson. I like long walks on the beach. And, well, I also like scoring touchdowns.
See you all later. Appreciate every single one of you. All of my IG people still watching right now. You rock. The Tweeterville, a.k.a. X. There's 100 of you still in here. And then, of course, the 100 plus of you YouTube monsters in here. Hit that thumb up button. We'll have 89 thumbs up in the YouTube thumb up department. So if we could, smash that number. Those are rookie numbers. Let's get that well over 100. See you all tonight on the Dynasty channel, or if breaking news happens, we'll be back here. Appreciate you all. Deuces. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.